It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Riding on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, throw a bone, getting high, getting shook. Watch all your bones, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. If you feel easy to do one night stands, try being a rock and roll man. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Rife, and welcome to yet another round here of the 2005 NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series season. We welcome you here from sunny Las Vegas, here for round number 3 this season. Going to be a fun one with some mile-and-a-half action coming your way just a few short moments from now, but it's going to be fun today here to see yet another early round in the season, get everybody still getting used to their cars and the new teams, and just settling in for a long season. But let's take a look here at your starting lineup here tonight as we take you trackside momentarily. It's going to be a brand new pole sitter here today as, let's bring that ticker up real fast. That should do the trick. But as we take a look at your starting lineup here tonight, it's going to be Scott Riggs capturing his first career NASCAR Cup Series pole, starting from first in the 57 for PPC here tonight. And Kevin Harvick in the 29 car is going to be to his outside, and Scott Wimmer with a great starting position in third place. A couple other drivers to note. We see Kyle Busch starting a bit of the ways up the field. He'll be in 8th place, a 10th place starting position for the 4 car of Hank Parker Jr., and 9th place for Elder in the 0 for Haas. And a couple more notable names that are starting down the order. You can see Sauter is back there. Bit of a struggle for Marlin and Kenseth in qualifying, as well as Kurt Busch. Command to start the engines. 85 laps here tonight from Vegas. Going to be a fun one here today as the field will roll off towards turn number 3 and turn number 4 as we get set to go. And that is a mechanical failure. I'm going to have to restart the race here real fast. And let's try that one again. There we go. All right. Just 2 races into the season, but you take a look at your points going into this race. Casey Kane in the 38 car leading the standings after just the 2 short races. A couple of top 5s to open up the season for him. Jeff Burton sits 2nd in points. Waltrip a D&Q today, 3rd in the standings. 4th goes to Marlin in the 22. And Robbie Gordon, your Daytona 500 winner, 5th in points. Starting in 5th tonight, pace car pulls off. We get ready to go here in Vegas. 85 laps of action here tonight. Green flag here from Sin City. Already nearly some three-wide action for second place as they round turn number 4. Lap number 1 goes to Scott Wimmer in the 23 car, just over pole sitter Scott Riggs. Those two young guns going to go side by side into turn number 1. Riggs, tough luck on that top side, going to back out and fall down to third place as Wimmer in the 23 takes your race lead. Harvick into second place in the 29 car. You see Greg Biffle in the 16 there on the inside looking for third on that 57. Couple of Fords side by side for the final podium spot as Stewart lurks in the back end of the top 5. Here comes Biffle on Harvick for second place as they enter turn 1. 3 wide deeper in the field there. In the back half of the top 10 as you see last race's winner Ryan Newman fighting back there. Hank Parker Jr. powering around that outside line on that 12 and even the 19. What a great run to start his day. A lot of side-by-side action in the midfield. But it is all Scott Wimmer out front to start this race. Two-time Cup Series winner, both on super speedways. Looking to make some noise here at Vegas. Couldn't tell you, Gavin, I have to be honest. Harvick looking to challenge for the lead. Almost makes a little bit of contact with Wimmer there, maybe, as he goes to the inside for P1. Side by side by the 23 and 29 as they enter turn 1 with Biffle trailing in third. Wimmer trying to power around that outside. We've seen even lanes at this track in the past, and the guys on the top sometimes able to overcome that driver on the inside. Dead even as they enter turn number 3. Biffle still lurking, not going to take it 3 wide, but biding his time early in the running. Wimmer trying to get that run. He got a great run off the corner. It's going to be Harvick leading the lap, but he stays right there. Needs a better corner than that if he wants to win this fight. Still side by side, and what a run off the corner. Wimmer holds him off and retakes the lead. Here's Biffle for second place. Down to the inside is the number 16, side by side. Tony Stewart watches them fight on there in front of him as Robbie Gordon tries to make a move on him for fourth. Huge run by Harvick on the outside, maybe even looking to take Wimmer to the top for the lead, and he does. Door to door in 1 and 2. Biffle maybe looking to take it 3 wide. It's looking like he's going to try it down into turn number 3. A big attempt. Didn't really dive it as hard as he could have. Taking it easy early in the running once again. Wimmer still fighting off all these guys. Established race winners all up front, but Wimmer holding all of them off for the time being. The whole of the top 5 and even the top 7 now in this mix for the race lead. And we have not even reached double-digit laps yet as Wimmer still holds on to first. Harvick still looking to that outside. Dives it into turn number 3, trying to make it stick. Still a dead heat for the race lead. Wimmer has it at the line by just a smidge. Still side by side. Stewart and Biffle door to door behind them as Harvick absolutely nails the throttle and runs away with it. The 29 back to the race lead as Biffle looks for second. A valiant effort by Wimmer to hold off Harvick for that long and lead the early running for so long, but maybe running out of stuff here after a few laps. Harvick again into the race lead. Biffle takes second. Here's Stewart for third as Wimmer trying his hardest to power around that outside, but could not pull it off. Falls all the way down to fourth in just a pair of laps. Looking at the rest of your top 10, we see Jeff Gordon in the 24 in that group. Riggs still hanging on to his top 10 for the time being. Jerry Nadeau in the 44 up and into the top 10 at the current moment. A good recovery from his qualifying position by Kurt Busch in that 01 car. You see struggles for Hank Parker Jr. after starting so well, just barely even inside the top 20 by this point. Kenseth also recovering well in the longer run as these guys start to cut their way through the field and make up some positions. After a handful of laps completed, points leader Casey Kane nearing the top 10 for the time being. Meanwhile, for the lead, Harvick still holding on to P1, while Biffle trails from second, a little closer than a couple laps prior. Maybe looking a little quicker for the time being, as Harvick maybe coming out of the gas a little bit once he got that top spot, but holds on to it for now as Biffle maybe got a little tight out of turn 2 there. Tony Stewart looks to the inside and sends it into turn number 3. Trying to get that nose in there and makes it work. A big run by Biffle off of 4 though. But Harvick blocks him and covers him well, but that opens the door for Stewart in the 20 on the inside. Trying to hold on that bottom lane, but that top just has such a good exit. And Harvick holds on to first. Biffle kind of boxed in by Stewart for the time being as they enter turn number 3. And that allows Harvick a bit of a buffer between those two as they remain side by side, but Stewart going to easily clear Biffle in the trial for P2. Wimmer with a bit of a second wind at the time being, looking for third place on the 16 car. As those two now go side by side, allowing Biffle a bit of a corner exit boost, but not enough to get to Tony in the 20 car. Harvick continuing to power on in P1. Wimmer still right on the back bumper of that 16, looking to maybe try to retake a podium spot. Looking bad fast to start today. Any one of these guys looking fairly quick at the current moment. Any one of them could be leading this race if they got up to Harvick. But at 29, still on top of all of these 5 or 6 guys to start off. Bit of a run by Stewart out of turn number 2, trying to catch up to that 29. Robbie Gordon looking for 4th place on Wimmer into turn number 3. Jeff Gordon also cutting his way up and into this top group after 16 laps completed this time by, as here's Tony Stewart for the race lead. Got a huge run out of turn 4 on the 29 car. Did not lead the lap, but looking to the inside as they enter turn number 1. Dead heat on corner entry. Can Harvick get the drive off this time? He's a little faster there, but is it going to be enough to clear him into turn 3? He does get clear, but can Stewart dive it back in? No, he cannot. That opens the door for Biffle on the outside. Nothing going there as Stewart again has a better run out of turn number 4. Looking low for the 2nd time in a row this time. Can he make it stick this time? Yes, he does. Absolutely stood on the throttle in the middle of the corner, and Tony Stewart takes the race lead. Can he hold Harvick off into turn number 3? It looks like he is definitely going to, with Biffle fighting him for 2nd place. Bit of a poor mid-corner that time through. Here comes Biffle in the 16 and Harvick on the outside. Tony covers him off beautifully, but Biffle's going to have a chance, and he is going to go to the inside in turn number 1. Tight battle between these 3. Stewart on the outside, gets back clear, and holds on to the lead that he just took. Down into turn number 3, Biffle and Harvick still side by side. Wimmer lurking in 4th. Jeff Gordon into the top 5 ahead of Robbie Gordon now, as it's all these 6 for this lead. Here's Harvick once again on Tony Stewart. What a run down the front straightaway. Didn't even have to stay side by side on corner entry, although Stewart dives it back in to try to stay there. Even playing field off of turn number 2. Stewart maybe with a little more speed. He's going to remain on the outside. Still a dead heat between these two Chevys off of turn number 4. Stewart with a bit of an advantage off of the corner. Harvick with the inside in the tri-oval. Stewart the nod at the line that time. Nearly 3 wide and is 3 wide for third place behind the 2 leaders. Biffle around the outside gets clear of the both of them. Here's Stewart back on the outside. Had a much bigger run out of turn number 2 that time. And Harvick unable to dive it back in to try to keep that challenge up. And Stewart has the lead again, but Harvick a better exit. Back on the inside once again. 20 laps of non-stop fighting for this lead. Here's Biffle. Looking to maybe take advantage of the both of them for the time in the near future, but Stewart, Harvick still side by side. Vince side by side for 4 or 5 laps at this point. Harvick diving it in, trying to find the grip down there. Has the momentum. Biffle with a better exit though, right behind the 29 as he's going to try to make a challenge for the lead again. To the inside. Biffle v. Harvick off of turn number 2. Harvick with the better exit. Biffle just really not seeming like he has a lot of pace when he's on the bottom of side by side. He's been unable to capitalize and take that lead. Definitely not a slow race car though, just the one weakness that he's found so far. Once again, peeking the nose underneath. Not quite there into turn 1. Is he going to try to dive it in on corner entry? Almost got into him, but stays behind for the time being. But that opens the door for Stewart with a bit of a run off of turn number 2. And the 20 car wasting no time, maybe even a bit of a bumper. That was pretty close. But Biffle powers around that outside to stay in front of him. And what a run in the draft with help from Stewart to the inside. Can he make it stick this time? Down low. Had a better mid-corner. And I believe he has got him, but Harvick's going to stay looking to the outside. Nope, Biffle's going to have him cleared into turn number 3. And the 16 to the lead. Biffle, a winner at this track in the past, if I am not mistaken, collected his first career Cup win at this facility against Harvick just a few years ago. Side by side for second is the 29 and 20. Jeff Gordon lurking in 4th. Sneaky fast on this run, has just been just outside this battle for the lead pretty much the entire time. You see Kurt Busch gaining some ground back there. Wimmer down to 7th place now as he's trying to fend off defending Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson. Kyle Busch in 9th place. And Newman versus Kane, the battle of last week for the last spot in the top 10 at the current moment. Jamie McMurray just behind them. See Mayfield and Nadeau, couple of teammates side by side at the very back of the top 15 as this run continues. And we are going to have pit stops as on lap number 27, Tony Stewart into the pits very early here. No mechanical problems on that 20 car. He is just going to pull in and try to make a shortcut on the pit stop. Morgan Shepherd in the 89, the only other car that pulls into the pits along with him. Looks like Harvick is going to lead another group in here as he's got his teammate Robbie Gordon behind. Biffle stays on the racetrack in the 16, continuing to lead laps. Big group of race cars, a lot of top 10 drivers into the pits here. Vegas Pit Road, a bit of a trouble spot, so this is where you can make or break your race. Harvick with a bit of traffic there. Let's see if he gets around Shepard. Yes, he will. But maybe held up just a smidge as he pulls into his pit box. 4 tires and fuel for all these guys as Biffle leads the final group in. Now this is where it gets tough. You see these guys having to wait for traffic. Harvick stays in his box for a long period of time. That is a tough, tough break for Harvick, who falls way down the order. All the way behind the 6 of John Wood. As we see Greg Biffle, your race leader, into his pit box to get 4 fresh Goodyears and some fuel in that thing. Biffle away cleanly and will retain the top spot in his group of pitters. Let's see if Tony Stewart's big undercut pays off, and it does massively. That 20 is way gone in the race lead after the pit cycle. Jimmy Johnson, another driver that benefits massively from pitting earlier. As we see the field get shuffled to high hell after that pit cycle. A lot of guys who were mired back in the pack take advantage. And a lot of guys who were in the lead for a lot of today's race, we see way down the order. The bottom 3 all, a bunch of guys we saw some up front, although the bottom 2, the couple of new teams, Atkins and PPC with Riggs and Sauter, the bottom 2 cars after the first pit cycle. Final couple cars pulling out of the pits. I believe Kenseth, Kenseth the latest of the pitters there, as he was the leader. Took a lap lead on that pit cycle in the 17 car. As we run down your top 5, Tony Stewart with the undercut way gone in P1. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car in 2nd place now after a shortcut of his own. That's Robbie Gordon and Greg Biffle battling for 3rd place as Biffle takes 3rd from the 31. Robbie in 4th. Kurt Busch jumps up to 5th place. Jeff Gordon stays around where he was. He's going to be in 6th. Casey Kane with a big jump into 7th in that 38 car. 8th Mayfield, 9th Kyle Busch, and Matt Kenseth with the latest pit stop on the freshest tires going to round out the top 10. Look for him to try to catch up and make up some ground here on the longer run here today. Tony Stewart maybe really not locking into that run right now, not setting very fast laps at the time being, as Jimmy Johnson set his fastest lap of the race the previous time by just shy of a 32nd, while Stewart runs another 31.6. Might have a battle for the lead brewing here in the coming laps. Biffle pulling away from 4th and 5th place as Kurt Busch and Robbie Gordon have a bit of a scrap. Jeff Gordon lurking just behind them as these two fight it out, but looks like Kurt Busch looking a little faster right now. Robbie Gordon falling down a couple positions after the pit cycle. Maybe the wrong way on the adjustment, or everybody else getting better on the fresher tires. Stewart finally settling in, ran a better lap that last time by. One of the slower drivers in the top group in terms of best lap this race, but led a handful of laps. Now the leader after the pit strategy, coming in 2 or 3 laps early to take advantage. Now with his fastest lap of the race, just as I said that, a 31.18. Johnson trying his best to try to catch up and make it a fight for P1 between himself and Tony Stewart, a familiar scene at the front of the field. And an even more familiar scene with Greg Biffle in 3rd place to those two, although quite a ways behind as we look at the gaps. A full 3 seconds to Johnson. I don't know why I haven't had the ticker up. I guess I didn't refresh it, but that's working now. You can have a look at the gaps between these guys. Here's Johnson for the race lead. ran that 20 car down on this run, but Stewart not going to give it up easy with a big run off of turn 4. Gets back clear and doesn't even make it a thought into turn number 1 to be side by side still. And a much worse corner by the 48 in 1 and 2 that time as Stewart pulls away down the backstretch. Biffle slowly catching up to these leaders. He's making some hefty ground as Kurt Busch follows along with him. Jeff Gordon closing in on Robbie Gordon for the last spot in the top 5. Matt Kenseth on the fresher tires. Later pit stop, picking up spots here on this run as he sits side by side with Kane in the 38, but Kane runs back around him and holds on to what is currently 7th place in the 38. But Kenseth staying persistent in that 17, down to the inside. He's going to be side by side into turn number 1. Trying to make it stick this time. And he is going to make it work. Kenseth into 7th, still picking up spots and making up time with the better tires. Biffle falling off a little bit, but trying his heart out to try to catch these leaders on the long run, but not a great lap that time by. Although tire fall off maybe starting to play a factor as the leaders weren't that quick either. And Robbie Gordon losing a motor on the backstretch. That is going to be, with that smoke billowing out of that thing, that is going to be your first caution of the day as Robbie Gordon loses his engine here. Watch out into the grass. And we are under caution here for the first time today. Tough break for that 31 team, looking real fast here today, but caution comes out. And Robbie Gordon looking like he's going to be out of the race here at Vegas today. Maybe going to try to get some repairs on that thing, but it'll be a question of if he can meet minimum speed if they're going to try to stay in this race. Pit stop's going to take place under caution here. And with Vegas's pit road, we'll see if these leaders can get away cleanly here. This is going to be a bit of a money stop just prior to the midway point in this race. Jimmy Johnson into his pit box. Could be a 2-tire stop. Nope, 4 tires on that 48 car. Going to have a look at the chat here and see if anyone's going to be taking 2. Does not look like that's going to be the case. Jimmy Johnson away from his pit box cleanly. Stewart in the 20. Pulling away. And will have the lead over the 48 of Jimmy Johnson on pit exit. Bit of damage on the 01 of Kurt Busch on the right front of that race car, as we'll get a look at what happened here. Ooh, contact with Jeff Gordon as well. That was David Green getting into the 24, trying to get into his box, and Jeff Gordon goes for a big slide. That is not what you want to see on pit road here, and oh my goodness gracious, we got a huge accident in the pits. Ryan Newman in it. That is no good for those guys, as that's probably going to take Gordon and Newman completely out of contention of this thing. Tough break for those guys, and yep, there'll be a tow for the 12 and the 24. Big damage on the 4 of Hank Parker Jr. But we did not even catch the problems with the 01 car with that right front damage. Ooh, contact with the 2 getting out of his box and into his box. That was Kenny Wallace. Talk about it. A lot of trouble on pit road at this racetrack. We see it all the time here. Kevin Harvick, a testament to that all the way back here. Outside of the top 20, Newman and Gordon both stuck in the pits with heavy damage after the incidents between them and some of the other cars. Robbie Gordon officially out of the race. He will be qualified in 42nd place. So we'll see if the damage on that 01 car is going to affect the handling or even the straight line speed with the aero on that car after the collision on pit road. Could open the door for all of these Fords, a lot of Fords in the top 10 here tonight, as we will take this one to green flag here with Tony Stewart in the lead. Gonna be just 40 to go on the dot as we take this green flag. It's Tony Stewart in the 20 car, gonna be your race leader. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 stays in second, third remains Biffle, fourth remains Kurt Busch, and fifth place goes to Kenseth in the 17. Gordon and Newman rejoin the field after some repairs. A couple of just laps down, one lap down each for those guys, as Gordon and Newman both on lap 44 instead of 45, coming to 46. Pace car peels off, green flag back in the air. Tony Stewart in the 20 with a great restart, as Johnson did not get out of the box well there. A bit of a look from Kurt Busch and Biffle, but no move in the making as they head into turn number 1. Although Biffle really putting the pressure on the 48 out of turn number 2, but Johnson with a good run on Stewart sticks in line for the time being. Kenseth already looking to make a move on Kurt Busch. No advantage on tires now, but can try to make a move. Picking up spots. That 17 looking real fast. Here is Biffle on the inside of Johnson for second. Don't think he cleared him, but almost all the way there. It's dead even between those two as Biffle dives it in looking for the lead. Hard on the brakes there into turn number 3, putting the pressure on Stewart. Stewart clears him for now. Here's Kenseth on Johnson with a huge run down the front stretch. Nothing happening on his teammate for second, but Biffle with a great exit off of turn 2, right on the back bumper of the 20. Doesn't stick the nose inside this time, but right on the back bumper again off of turn 4. Looking better on exit than Stewart is right now, but biding his time for now. Kenseth looking antsy though to the inside on his teammate. Couldn't quite get the nose there. Now he does. Forces Biffle out of line. Side by the two Roush teammates for second. Stewart loving this in his mirror as they head down the backstretch. Everybody versus everybody for the top spots right now. Here's Johnson on Biffle. Biffle with a great run out of turn number 4. Johnson could take it 3 wide here. Not going to be 3 wide. Yes, it is into turn number 1. Biffle trying to hang it on the very top. 3 deep. Johnson gets both of them into turn number 1 and 2 and off of turn 2. What a move by the 48 to get past the two Roush boys. Biffle sends it in turn 3. Having to compromise the middle of his corner for that corner entry. Kane into the top 5 in the 38 car. Once again, a great run out of him. Side by side between him and Biffle. Here's Johnson for the lead. Stewart with a monster run out of turn 2 to absolutely leave Johnson in the dust, however, as Kenseth goes around the outside looking for second place. Casey Kane behind looking for fourth. Unable to make that move stick. Johnson retains second. Just going to check up on these guys in the back of the field. Battle for the top spots still heating up. Biffle looking for second place. Big run out of the corner. That 16 is so quick on corner exit today. Kenseth almost took it 3 wide in the middle. As these guys continue to fight for everything except for the lead. Kenseth looking to take it 3 wide. Is he going to do it? At least got in the way of Biffle, and now he goes to the inside, trying to slip by both of them, very nearly turned himself. Johnson all the way on the outside, Biffle with a run up the middle, but gets boxed in. These guys just cannot stop getting in the way of each other, but Johnson trying to take Stewart around the outside. Couldn't quite get all the way there, as Tony remains in front of him. But a big run by Johnson off of turn 2. But still not quite able to get there. A lot of give and take here on this run. Here's Kenseth again for second place. Trying to make something happen. You can see battles in the midfield there. That was 3 wide. Scott Wimmer in the middle of all of that. Your race pole sitter looking to get back into the top 10 on this run. Kenseth trying to clear Johnson for second. Made it happen. Johnson trying to go around the outside. Couldn't. That leaves the door open for Biffle with another huge run on corner exit. Kenseth with the first chance since Johnson to try to challenge Stewart for the lead. He will dive it into turn 3 on the inside as a 17. Matt Kenseth to the lead for the first time tonight. Made it stick down on the inside. Stewart trying to counterattack. Johnson looking to the inside. Is this going to be 3 wide for the lead if Stewart makes a move? No, it will not. Side by side for second, though, between a couple of bitter rivals, door to door. And Johnson makes easy work of Stewart for second. Now has his sights on Kenseth for first. Kenseth running away from the other guys in this top group right now. Side by side is Johnson and Biffle. Johnson powering in that mid corner, but Biffle still again just so strong on corner exit, but Johnson gonna have the draft of the 17 and Biffle not close enough to make a dive bomb back to the inside. Casey Kane in the top 5 as well now, looking to try to catch back up to this group for the lead. That is going to be 3 wide. Here's Stewart on the inside, Biffle in the middle. Into turn number 1 for second place. Stewart trying to keep his nose there, couldn't quite do it. Biffle comes out on top of all of them in the middle lane. Couple of Roush teammates first and second. Johnson and Stewart remain side by side. Just going to do another back of field checkup here. Looks good to me. Nearing the final stretch of this race, you can imagine after a little more than 20 laps since the green flag, we could be expecting a pit stop within the next 5 to 10 laps or so. So one more money stop left in this race for these leaders. Kenseth v. Biffle for the lead for now, as Biffle trying to follow in Kenseth's tire tracks and catch up for that first spot. Big run in the middle of the corner, closes up. Is he going to make it happen now? Nope, not yet. He's right there, though, but if he waits any longer, he's going to leave the door open for Stewart with a huge run down the front stretch as the 20. Got all the way there. Biffle on the top, Stewart down low. Biffle gonna have the defense and have it made down into turn number 3, but Stewart stays there. Casey Kane joins the top 5 and is up with the front 4 now for the race lead. Kurt Busch trailing not too far behind. Scott Wimmer once again making up some ground, but fighting with Ricky Hendrick right now. Kevin Harvick with the recovery drive of a lifetime back into the top 10. What a performance to get back up here in the first place, and maybe with an outside chance at winning this thing still. Kenseth still holding a good gap to Tony Stewart in second place. Jimmy Johnson fighting with Biffle for third. Tight battle. Stewart closed all the way up on Kenseth in just a pair of corners. Looking like he's going to be as patient as Biffle was, but again, that might just open the door for the rest of the top 4. Jimmy Johnson with a run, looking low. Stewart could not block him. Here is the 48. Tony with a hard entry. 20 laps to go here from Vegas. This thing is not even close to over right now. Stewart gets clear of Johnson for second. And if these guys are to battle much longer, you could be getting 5-10 extra cars in this pack for the lead. But Stewart with a huge run down the front stretch pulls all the way up and past the nose of Kenseth into turn 1. Matt trying to power on the outside and absolutely leaves him in the dust on corner exit that time. Johnson gonna be very opportunistic here to the inside. Make it a hard corner entry. Hard on the brakes, down to the inside. Trying to make it happen. Maybe even with a shot at the lead. Will have a shot at the lead. All of the top 4 side by side. 3 wide as here's Stewart looking up the middle. Kenseth all the way on the top. Stewart in the middle, has to back out, gets a little loose. Biffle to second place. What a move by Johnson and Biffle to take advantage and slip through. The 16 right on the back bumper of the 48 for P1. Once again, staying patient. I'm just not sure I can understand it at this stage in the race, but maybe he knows a little more than we do. Down into turn number 1, Johnson left him behind on corner entry. Biffle trying to get the run down the backstretch. Thought about diving it in, wasn't close enough, but no, he gets the back bumper right to him. He's so much better on that end of the racetrack right now. Kenseth and Stewart dogging it out for third. Kane fending off a pack of hounds for the top 5 right now. Harvick, Hendrick, Busch, Labonte all in that group behind the 38. Johnson pulling away a bit in the lead. And we are now going to be seeing our final pit cycle as Tony Stewart leads Kane into the pits. Caution flag is out. Believe that might have been with Kenny Wallace. Caution flag flies. Yeah, there's some smoke there. In turn 3, Kenny Wallace. Yep, big damage on the back of the 2. Ooh. Oh, looks like he just ran Riggs out of room there. Yes, he did. Cut right down into the 57 in turn 3, and that brings out the yellow flag as Wallace goes into the wall. This could be very interesting. We have a lot of people who are trapped a lap down now due to the pit cycle. Tough break for Stewart and those guys, but we'll see how it plays out for him, as Biffle and Johnson will lead the field into the pits for the final pit stop tonight. It was a 4-tire stop for all of the guys that came in under that caution flag. Or under the green flag, I should say. We'll see if it's going to be 4 or 2 here for these guys who are still yet to make their stops. Johnson into his pit box. And it will be 4 tires. We'll see if anybody gambles on 2 here. Does not look like it. Johnson away cleanly. Waiting to see how Biffle's pit stop ends here. And Johnson easily out in front of the 16 as we've got some boys to wave around here. Casey Kane, Tony Stewart, a lot of these guys with tough breaks. Jeff Gordon catches a break here. He, as long as he doesn't pit here, which he very well might. Well, actually, Jeff Gordon was the lucky dog there. So 24 will be waived either way. Going to take the 12 off the track for the sake of minimum speed. He was very slow, so we will take him out of the race. So Gordon will be waved for Lucky Dog. Everybody else in front of the leaders here going to be waved around. All the way back to Johnson in the 48, who is your race leader. Alright, with wave rounds completed, gonna also wave that 24 car of Jeff Gordon as he, once again, receiving the lucky dog here under this caution flag to be back on the lead lap, but elects to pit, so he will be tail end. And Gordon heading to the inside to get his lucky dog. he will sit dead last in 40th place. Tough break for these guys who pit under green. Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick, all very fast cars in the top 10 who sit barely even inside the top 30. We will be going green this time by with exactly 10 laps to go. Your top 5, Johnson in the 48, Greg Biffle, Matt Kenseth, Ricky Hendrick, and Kurt Busch are your top 5 runners. Busch probably got most of that damage on the right front repaired under that yellow flag, so what little pace he lost, he was still very competitive on that run. Maybe a tad more here, but we'll see. A little bit of a dent still visible there on the right front of the 01 car. Scott Wimmer in the 23 in 6th. Bobby Labonte in 7th. Carl Edwards, a nice quiet run today in the top 10. He sits 8th. 9th place is McMurray in the 40. And Sterling Marlin, a nice recovery drive of his own, sits in 10th in the 22 car. Pace car going to peel off. 10 laps to settle it here in Vegas. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 going to be your race leader as they head into the box. And the green flag is going to wave. We are back underway. Not a bad start by Biffle in second. The leader always gets a good jump, but Biffle not too shabby from second place. Couple of drivers already jockeying for position at the back end of the top 10 as we enter turn number 1. Johnson pulling a little bit of a gap between him and the 16. Biffle going to have to be wary of his teammate. Kenseth already looking to the inside for second. Big send by the 17 and did not even make it a big deal. Kenseth to P2 and already closing in on the back bumper of Johnson. And he is already right there, but Johnson a way better mid-corner. Biffle closes in as well, maybe looking to trade positions again. But he's gonna, no, he's gonna look to the inside. Here he comes. Kenseth has to stick high. Johnson pulling away a little bit from the lead. Biffle, so good on corner exit every single time here, though, and he gets second from the 17 car. Johnson still pulling away a little bit. Need a better run by the 16 or any of these guys if they want a chance at winning this race. Bobby Labonte looking for the top 5 on Kurt Busch. Johnson running away again in the race lead. His best laps all day right now. Absolutely running away with it right now. Almost a full second between him and Biffle. Here's Kenseth diving it in on the 16, but couldn't get the nose underneath. 6 to go with the stripe. Johnson trying to scurry away with it. Here's Wimmer again looking to put himself in the top 5. Kenseth looking like he's getting antsy, thinking we don't have much time left to make this happen. But being side by side is not how you want to settle this. Biffle needs clean track if he wants to get there, but Kenseth thinks he can get it better. Looking low into turn 1 again. Biffle stays clear. Once again, maybe a better exit by Johnson, but that gap isn't as big as it was a lap and a half ago. But with 5 laps left, Biffle is running out of time. Biffle a smidge faster at the stripe, but another slower lap time out of the 16. 4 to go. Johnson just absolutely unchallenged right now. And another poor corner by the 16. That's going to be 3 wide for second place. Biffle gets clear. Kurt Busch trying to go around the outside. Three to go. If Biffle's going to catch him, it has to be now. Gap's still about the same. Going to be 2 left at the stripe. Bobby Labonte with a great run through the top 10 here into 3rd place. Here late in the going. Nearly 3 wide back there. Biffle quicker that time. He's looking fast. Does he have enough time to get to Johnson? Johnson better on exit again, trying to seal the deal. I think that might be it that time. No, it's not over yet. What a run by Biffle through 3 and 4. The white flag waves. 1 lap to go here at Vegas. Does the 16 have anything for Johnson? If he can just get through 1 and 2 clean, he might have a chance. Johnson better on corner exit. He was so much faster through 3 and 4 the last time through. Is it going to happen again? Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Can Biffle get there? Johnson drives it in, a perfect 3 and 4. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. 3 races in, Jimmie Johnson has his first win of 2005. Absolutely ran away with it there at the end. Biffle almost got all the way there, but could not quite finish the deal. Jimmie Johnson, your winner here from Las Vegas. Kenseth comes home in 3rd. A great run by Labonte to capture the top 5 there. Ricky Hendrick gets a top 5. A great run for Wimmer in the top 10. Jeff Burton, another great run. Could very well be the points leader after today with that finish. Another great run for John Wood in the 6 car, coming home in 12th place. And many more with great runs today that come up just shy or empty-handed. As Casey Kane with a great recovery to get all the way up to 18th, but that'll do it, and Jimmie Johnson, your winner here at Las Vegas. Didn't even really have much competition at the end of it there. The entire final 10-lap run just absolutely left the field in his dust and captures the victory. So the 48 team with the victory. Jimmie Johnson, once again, it wasn't going to be a matter of if, and that 48 car wastes no time in capturing his first victory of 2005 here from Vegas. Winner in just the 3rd race of the season. But that'll do it here from Vegas. Jimmie Johnson in the 48, your race winner. Win number 1 on the season, and many more likely to come down the line. Next week will be Homestead for race number 4, the Radio Shack 400. Gonna be a fun one there that week as one of the better tracks on the schedule. But we'll catch you then. On behalf of everybody here tonight, I'm Caden Reif, your host of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. We'll see you, and as always, have a good one.
It's a long way to the top.